happening, everyone? This is William Craddock with Will Twin Gaming. And today, our video, we're going to talk about the brand new format in One Piece, 2v2 Buddy Battle. We're going to go over some of the rules, some of the specific strategies. But before we do, please like, subscribe, and check out our newly launched Patreon. We're going to have some unique content over there. And everything you do on the Patreon helps us bring you even better content in the future. All right, let's go. All right, first let's talk about what is Buddy Battle. It is a 2v2 format for One Piece, similar to something like in Magic the Gathering, Two-Headed Giant, except you get to play a much cooler card game. So, how does it work? You have you and your teammate. One is player A, one is player B. And so player A will go for your team, then player A for the other team, then player B for your team, then player B for the other team. The rules are a little different. You start with your leader's life total -2. So if you have a 5 life leader, you're only gonna start with 3. And instead of having to land that game-winning attack, all you have to do is deplete both your opponent's life to 0 or both their decks to 0. This is a little different than having to get them to 0 and then hit them with another attack. So there's a lot of interesting strategies you can implement in this new 2v2 format. A few of the other rules are different. You can now combo defend for your teammate. You can block for your teammate, which will be very important. So they just can't, beat up your teammate, then beat up you. Y'all can block and defend from your hand or with your board for each other. And there are certain effects that you can now use for your teammate. For instance, the Secret Rare Uta, instead of my board getting +1000 until the end of my next turn, now I can give it to my teammate who might need it more than I do at that specific time. So specifically on the Uta effects and effects like it, anything that says you or your, you can now use for your teammate. And if an effect says for your opponent, you can now choose which opponent you want to hit with that effect. So right now, 2v2 is considered a casual format, but here at Will Twin Gaming, we know how a casual format can become very popular. It can become a tournament format. So these are some of the strategies we've come up with thus far to try to break the game and help to win a match if I ever end up playing 2v2 in a tournament. All right, getting into the heroes, here's what we've come up with so far. First, we have our Blorkable Kaido. He's very interesting because you start on 2 life in the Buddy Battle format, 4 life -2. That means on turn 1, your Thunder Bagwas are automatically online, so you can defend the very first attack against you and ramp a Dawn. This seems pretty effective to me. Also, if you look at his ability, Dawn ×1, when your opponent's character is KO'd, add 1 card from your Dawn card, put it into play. So now you're ramping twice. It's going to allow you to get up to a very high Dawn count early on. And you can combo this with things like Uta. And Uta is cool because you can Uta yourself to protect yourself. Or if you've already lost all your life, but your teammate's still alive, you can Uta and protect your teammate and give all their characters and their leader +1000 until the end of their next turn. Another card, shouldn't fail to mention, if you're playing Blorkable Kaido, is the Tournament Pack Trafalgar Law. This card just didn't do anything in the normal games because it's just not that great of a card in the normal games. However, in this 2v2 Buddy Battle system, you can just hit your opponent for 1 and it can win the game. You don't have to hit them with that final attack. It's just when both players reach 0, the game is over. So Trafalgar Law Tournament Pack, extremely powerful in the Buddy format. So people need to look out for that and play around it by discarding cards to protect their life early. Moving on, let's talk about the oldie but goodie, Purple Kaido. He has so many good cards in the Buddy Battle format. First of all, let's talk about his leader ability. -7 Dawn, a player trashes a life. Again, in the 1v1, this was actually fairly powerful. But in this new format, where all you have to do is reach 0, they don't actually have to kill you. Watch out, trashing your life, 10 out of 10, broken. Just because, you don't have to attack them to win anymore. All you have to do is trash their life. That combos with things like the Tournament Pack Kaido. So if you have an island, Tournament Pack Kaido, now you're gaining 4 Dawn a turn, so you can use his ability every other turn. You never have to attack. You just kind of turtle up between blockers and 2K counters, and as long as they can't kill you, it's just inevitability. They're just going to die. Also, with the purple Kaido and the purple Kaido, if you wish, you get the Douglas Bullet. Now, this card was supposed to make a splash in Constructed or in 1v1, but it never really did. In this buddy battle system, it's really powerful because if you're player A and you're behind your opponent's player A, you can rest one of their characters and you don't even have to be the one to attack it. It's going to be rested all the way through your teammate's turn so they can attack it if they want to. And, it gets rid of blockers and you could hit someone for 2, and then maybe you can activate your Kaido ability and they're just dead. So Douglas Bullet, I think, is going to be extremely powerful in the 2v2 format. Then we have the 7-cost King. This was kind of debatable if we think it's going to be playable. I think everyone will be running a lot of cheap blockers, so 7-cost King is going to have double the targets that he did in the original 1v1. So I think it will be a staple in the Kaido decks. Of course, you can never forget the big boy, the destroy all characters, Wrath Kaido. You know what? It destroys everybody. It does everything. And it's a 12K. This card will also be a staple, but there might be certain strategies that makes it too slow. I've yet to see, if people are going to try aggro, or we're thinking Kaido. Maybe they'll make it so that you can only play one color and you have to play a different color. The format will evolve a little bit beyond what it is now, but as it stands, I think this Kaido is going to be very powerful. And finally, the last card I think is going to be really strong is Hell's Judgment. This is strong in 1v1. It's going to be strong in 2v2, especially if you can double up on them. It's going to make it incredibly difficult for your opponent to deal damage to you, just because the effect is so strong of -3 to 2 characters your teammate can block for you. So it's going to make combat math very difficult, and this card does it one of the best. All right, finally, we'll talk about one more card. This one, I hope no one forgot. Big Kid. This card was really hard to deal with in 1v1, and now we have to deal with it in 2v2. Imagine, if you will, you have this big kid that's rested, has a Dawn under it, and now you have 2 full hands of 2K counters and 2 full boards to block it, and every opponent has to attack it. They have to go here. They cannot go anywhere else. I'm not sure it's going to be too slow. I'm not sure how fast Buddy Battle is going to be, but I can tell you now, this card is busted because they have to attack it, and they can never kill you unless you're using our plan of Kaido, get your Dawn back, and just burn them out without ever having to attack. Some important notes: if you reach 0 life, you are not out of the game. Both you and your teammate have to reach 0 life to be out of the game. There's also, if you look at our strategy, we're very top end. I do believe that a Zoro strategy would be strong. Or even we're talking about Whitebeard. I know Whitebeard's automatically going to make himself go down to 0 life. But if you just play defense Whitebeard to protect your teammate, and you can play 9-drop Edward Newgate and buff your teammate's leader and make him even harder to kill. There's so many interesting things you can do in this format, and I can't wait to try it out. I'm hoping that this becomes a normal at larger events or even at locals, because I want to see people get creative with this format. I'm sure the rules are going to change a little bit. There are things that may be a little too good right now. I'm predicting Kaido leader ability is a little too good just because you can use it repeatedly and just win the game. But, ultimately you have to see how the format pans out. A few things to take away from the 2v2 format is, one, when you start at 3 life, you got to think about you have much less cards to deal with. Normally in a 1v1 game, you have 5 life, so you essentially have your opening hand plus 5 cards. In the 2v2 format, you have 3 life, so you have 2 less cards to kind of finagle your blockers and your counters. So I believe this is going to make deck building change a little bit. I don't think things like 6-drop King, which would normally be in the Kaido deck, are going to be in Kaido anymore. Things like the 7-drop starter deck Kid, I don't believe are going to be in the Kid deck anymore, because you need a lot more counters. I also believe that's going to make certain events better. I think in blue in particular, the Love Mellow is going to be a very powerful counter because it draws a card when you play it. And also, if you're playing blue, you get the tournament pack law. This is kind of the surface of deck building for us. This is where we're at right now. I do think there's going to be a reasonable number of hero combinations or character combinations in this format. I think they should make it you can't share a color with your partner. I think that'll diversify it even further. That's just one of the suggestions I have. If you guys have any suggestions, if you guys think there's any rules they could implement to make this format better, you know, hit us up in the comments. We're going to actually try this at our locals this week, so hopefully we can get that on video and you can check it out firsthand. That being said, that's the end of our video. Make sure you like and subscribe. We appreciate y'all. We just hit 500 subs in the first, month and a half we've been doing this, which my editor's telling me that's very good. We're growing, and we can't do it without y'all, so we appreciate it. And we're going to have some gameplay this weekend, some high-level regional testing this weekend, so make sure you check it out. See ya. Buddy battle. Oh, this feels good. Checker ya.
Thumbs up the video, subscribe to the channel.
Godlike, it was so good.